Right, hello. Right, I'm going to tell you a story about a friend of mine called Derek. Excuse me, I've got a mug of cocoa here. I'm supposed to be drinking green tea, but you know, cocoa. And I make a dedication, and I dedicate my story to two friends, Gary Dundee and Nilesh Patel, who seem to be my biggest fans. Well, there you are. This is a story about a man called Derek, and Derek is a friend of mine who comes from the town of Dunstable, down in Bedfordshire. Now Dunstable is the home of Whitbread beers, and Derek was a real ale fan, and in particular he had this loyalty to his hometown and the Whitbread brand in particular. Whitbread has got a long history, 200 years. It was formed in, I think it was about 1749, something like that, and towards the end of the 18th century became the very first sort of volume beer manufacturer in the country, and of course the tradition of British ales. British beer is ales, isn't it? And it established a name which lasted well into the 19th and the 20th century, and it became famous for a number of beers. Often under the name of Mackeson Pale Ale, for instance, and Derek's particular favourite, Mackeson Triple Stout, and this stout was the stout that had the famous milk churn logo. I mean, partly because stout is obviously dark in colour with the white head, but it was in the shape of milk churn, largely because Mackeson Triple Stout it contains lactose, which is a milk product, and it's a particular sort of southern style of making beers. Well, anyway, you're particularly fond of this, and of course he was very proud of Whitbreads. Whitbread were the company that introduced Stella Artois to this country, for instance, although Derek was not a lager drinker. He despised lager drinkers. I mean, Stella, he could cope with Stella, and Heineken, which were the two lagers that Whitbread introduced, which he thought were high quality lagers. But of course the power of this company fell as brands like Budweiser and Foster's started coming to the country, which Derek didn't think much of. As time went on, of course, Whitbread sold all their brewing interests due to sort of a horizontal integration in the industry. They sold them to a company called Interbrew. By this time, Whitbread had acquired, it was quite a big company that acquired Premier Inns, which was the largest hotel chain in the country, and Costa Coffee, for instance, which is the second biggest coffee chain in the world, Beefeaters and Brewers Fayre. But they sold the company to Interbrew. But this time the real ale aspect was diminished, with the growth of globalization and all that, and it had become a massive company. They sold it to Interbrew, and Interbrew weren't really interested in producing these real ales, but they still exist, and they still exist. They're often made under license to other companies. Well, eventually Whitbread sold their pubs themselves to Enterprise Breweries. Enterprise Breweries, which is a company actually owned by Shell, registered on the stock exchange, which owns a whole load of pubs around the country, and often these pubs are very sympathetic to real ales. And he had moved. Derek had moved up. I know him. He's a friend of mine. Lives around in Warsaw, where I do, and we were scouring the pubs one day, and we went into an Enterprise pub, and he saw the logo. He saw this milk churn logo in the pub, and he got quite excited, and he went up to the barman and said, "Excuse me, this logo, you sell Mackeson?" And the barman said yes. So he poured him a pint, and he sat in the corner of the pub. He sat in the corner, and he just looked at this pint of Mackeson triple stout, and he was quite excited, and he just sat there and he just whispered, "Oh, Whitbread." He sat there, but it was quite a crowded pub, and there was this rather large woman in the corner, and she needed to get out, and she asked him to move, and as she moved out, she actually broke wind, and she broke wind over the table, over the drinks. And as she went by, he said to her, he said, "Excuse me," he said, "Did you just fart in my whitbread?" And she said, "No, I'm just a Sanderson." Coco. This was something. Okay. Anyway, that was the story of Derek. Right, that one's for you, Nilesh and Gerda. Thank you. Bye.